everyone. I know it's in the middle of the day. It's lunchtime. So if you guys are out on lunch, if you're working, or if you're an entrepreneur, you should have some free time to come and look at this live. Make sure that you share it. Make sure that you like it, and make sure that you come back to it later on, because this is some good stuff today. So if you don't know me, I'm Sparkling T. Rushing. I am the founder of God as CEO. Um, and it's been an amazing journey. And I'm going to share with you guys a few things today. There's a few topics that I want to talk about as it relates to your business. But let me share a little bit about me so that you guys kind of understand who I am. Now, you guys have several different cameras going on. Okay. So let me talk a little bit about me so you guys kind of know my story and where God as CEO came from. All right. It really came from a place of pain. It really came from a place of loss. And I needed something that would get me back on track with my businesses. And the only person I know to go to is the Lord himself. And with that, I created a 30-day business alignment system that aligns your business with God and makes God the CEO of your business. So let me tell you guys something. I know what it feels like to build something up, to go through an substantial loss, and just question everything that's going on, right? I really truly understand how that feels. But what you have to understand, the hardest thing is not the loss of money. In my particular situation, I lost over $60,000 trusting someone who I thought was a friend, and taking on one of their recommendations, and my business took a tremendous hit. And with that hit, it took me a few years to even get back in the saddle, because I was so busy trying to chase, like, why, I need to try to recoup my money back, and which ended up costing me more money. And it just became a huge mess. And so I had to take the time to stop and say, okay, Lord, look, you gave me this business. You gave me the business idea. You told me what it is to do. And the Lord just reminded me, yes, I gave you the business, but you took it out of my hands. You took it from me, and you begin to do things your own way. And so there's a couple of different things that we're going to talk about today that I think is so important. And this is going to be educational, informational, but I want you guys to go and download God as CEO, the 30-day business alignment system, because it is going to help you transition from being unclear, help you transition out of unhealthy business relationships, help you have better discernment when making your decisions. And it's just going to be a phenomenal transformation for you. Okay, I am currently have a coaching program where I'm helping people through the process of transitioning ownership from themselves to God. And it's been very successful. So I'm launching it so that other people can join, because it's so important. If God gave you a vision, you have to allow God to walk you through that vision, and you have to communicate with God every step of the way. So let's talk a little bit about my story. Okay. So I already told you guys, I built a business, my husband and I trusted someone who I considered a friend, and there was a huge loss, a $60,000 loss. And that includes, we end up going to court, that includes lawyer fees and all these different things. And it had a huge impact, not only on just our business financially, but also on the discernment. Like, when I finally took myself back to the Lord, I'm like, Lord, how did I not see this? What happened? Why did I know that why didn't I realize that this person was taking advantage of me? Why did I get into partnership because of emotions, right? Because you feel like, oh, this person will never do that to me, or they're recommending these people, they must be good because I trusted that person. And so that's not the hardest part. Okay. The hardest part was realizing that I had been moving way faster than discernment, right? If I had just chilled out, asked a few more questions, took it to God, prayed about it, and kind of really thought the thing through, I would have seen the red flags from the beginning. But hey, I wasn't focused. All right. I ignored warning signs. I did. I was operating. I wanted to get it done, right? I just wanted to get this done. I wanted to get the product that I was trying to build. I wanted to get it built. And instead of doing more research and figuring out that, number one, the product that I was trying to get built does not cost the amount of money that they were trying to they charged me to build it. And number two, they weren't a company that could build this type of uh, product. They just, it's just not what they did, and they didn't know how to do it. And but they took my money. Okay, so let's not go there. Instead of them telling me, hey, I can't do that, they took my money. And so let's continue going on. So I was building externally, and internally it was driving me crazy because I'm still trying to keep my business going. I'm still trying to keep everything running. I'm still trying to keep things moving forward. And it just everything broke down. My business ended up suffering. I ended up losing customers. I ended up losing money. I ended up losing just the momentum that the business had going. Okay. And truth be told, we're just now getting back to a point where it's like, okay, but that's because we allowed God to lead. That's because we took a step back. That's because I said, okay, wait, we have to do something different, right? I was forced in this season over the last couple of years to rebuild differently. But this time, it wasn't going to just be with strategy, but it was going to be with alignment with God and what God called me to do. Okay. And so that's why I created God as CEO, because entrepreneurs, like, we don't need to hustle. I know we always talk about that. We have this hustle culture. You got to hustle hard. And I just don't believe that when God gives us a business, that it always has to be hustle. If we align ourselves with God, if we really line up with what it is that He's called us to do and follow the structure that He's given us, then we don't have to do all the hustling, right? We can come out of this hustle culture. I have this picture in my office, and I'm gonna read it to you guys. And I told my husband, we're taking that down. I'm taking that down because I just don't believe it. And it says entrepreneur, and it says a person who is up late working 100 hours for themselves to avoid working 40 hours for someone else. And I used to really believe that. I used to really believe that. But when you're aligned with God, you don't have to work 100 hours for yourself. You follow the directive that God gave you. You do what it is He told you to do, and then you go on. You move on to the next directive, right? And the issue comes when we're not following the directive that God gave us. The issue comes when we decide to do things on our own. Okay. But I created God as CEO to help people stay in alignment. It helped me tremendously. Okay. It helped me heal because, running a business, especially after you get burned, that, listen, that can cause some trauma. Okay. It's traumatizing. I mean, I still want my money back. Okay. But it's traumatizing when when you've lost so much. So God as CEO is structured to help you through healing, the healing process of running your business, give you structure, give you wisdom and alignment. All right. And then after you go through the God as CEO 30-day business alignment system, there is a God as CEO business planner that you go through. So it's amazing, you guys. I'm telling you, it truly changed how I operated and how I dealt with just the clients I come up with, different people that I talk to, who I connect myself to. And so that's so important, right? It's part of the discernment. But let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about a couple of topics today. Number one is going to be pride in entrepreneurship. Number two is going to be moving faster than discernment, which is huge, right? And then number three is going to be the warning signs that entrepreneurs ignore. Okay. Um, and then last but not least, we'll have why success without alignment collapses. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. The first topic, let me talk about a few statistics because I'm a numbers person. Well, let me say this. I'm not really a numbers person, but I like to know what's going on. Okay. I like to know what is going on in the world of entrepreneurship that has people impacted, and what do they need to do? What do we need to do to fix this? Okay. So 87% of founders report experiencing anxiety, depression, or burnout while building their business. Okay, that's 87%. And nearly 50% of entrepreneurs report burnout tied to pressure, isolation, and carrying everything alone. Okay, and 64% of entrepreneur burnout is linked to constant decision fatigue. So when you always have to make a decision, you're the only one making the decision. You're the only one processing everything. You're the only one working in the business, right? That causes for there to be fatigue. It causes frustration. It causes burnout, and it causes you to be under pressure, right? God never intended for us to do things alone, you guys. I had to learn that. All right. And so we're talking about pride in entrepreneurship, and pride makes entrepreneurs believe that they must carry everything alone. And I have to say, like, when I think about my own personal journey, like, I have several different businesses that I have started, and a lot of times I didn't want other people involved because no one else aside from my husband, because it was more of, hey, it's my thing, I'm going to do it my way. And I had to get out of that mindset and say, listen, I may know how to do this really well, but I don't know how to do this really well. I need to go get somebody to help me do this. Right. And so I had to kind of break away from that pride in business, and God as CEO helped me do that. Okay. Pride sounds, people try to make it all spiritual. I got this. Nobody else can help me. I'll rest later. And there's this saying that people say, I'll rest when I'm dead. That is not the way God intended for it to be. God said give rest. Okay. We're not supposed to be overworked. Matter of fact, I just thought about this, you guys. I have this scripture on my whiteboard in my office, and it's Proverbs 23:4. And it says, do not overwork to be rich, because of your own understanding cease. Listen, God never intended for us to be overworked. Right. And I even have to catch myself now where I'm like, okay, Spark, slow down, take a break, take a rest, slow down. You don't need to do all of that. You've been working consistently for the last few days. You don't need to be staying up all night. You don't need to do that. And I usually go into that when I'm in build mode. When I'm building something, I'm working. And that's okay, because you need to build things up, but you got to take time to rest, right? But when you have pride, it makes it, I'm just going to rest later. I'm about to make sure I got to get this done. I've learned that you cannot think clearly when you're fatigued, when you're tired. So you end up making mistakes. You end up overworking and doing things you don't even really need to do, because if you had just taken a step back, taken some rest, and got some clarity, then you would understand that there's certain things you don't need to do and some things that you do need to do, right? So I think a lot of times, many entrepreneurs confuse control with leadership. And we have to take control out of it, right? And with God as CEO, you really are transferring the ownership of your business to God, and you are giving him the control. And you have prompts walking you through how to ensure that you give God the control. And anytime you get off track and you go to try to take the reins back, when you go through the system, it will realign you back with God and allow God to take control. Okay. We were never meant to work this hard and do it all on our own, but it's a pride issue. So we got to pray that thing up off of us. Okay. Got to pray that thing up off of us. Pride prevents a few things. Number one, it prevents people from asking for help. Okay. It prevents people from asking for help. It prevents you slowing down. If you're walking in pride, it prevents you slowing down. It prevents you to seek counsel. So let me give you guys this scenario. So with the people that I lost all this money for my business for, they had a business agreement with another business owner, a very successful business owner, might I add. And after when it started to go downhill, I waited too late to seek counsel. I called this business owner and I was like, hey, you did business with them. What's going on? And the business owner told me, hey, if I knew, you should have called me before you did business with them. I would have told you not to do it. Listen, you have to seek wise counsel. Pride will prevent you from going, like, why didn't I call this person who I knew and still know will answer my call, give me the advice that I'm asking for, and somebody that I trust? Why would I not go seek counsel? Right? It was a pride thing. We just got to call it what it is. It was just a person's my business. These people are helping me. I trust this person, all of that. But I did not seek counsel in any of that. Right? I got other people involved, like partners and investors involved, for them to meet with the people. But really, I had already made the decision. I already made the decision without seeking counsel about what it is that, if I should work with these people or not. And had I done that, it would have saved me time. It would have saved me money. It would have saved me energy. My product still is not developed. I'm in the process of developing it now with a different company and different developers and things of that sort. But it's still not there. I still don't have it, but I could have avoided all that seeking counsel. Okay. And then admitting exhaustion. I've learned this new, right? When I'm tired, I'm tired. When I need a break, I need a break. And I'm like, Lord, I need a break. I'm taking a rest day today. Right. And so you have to make sure that you are not leaning into those things that that pride prevents you from doing. Okay. So let me reverse that. Number one, ask for help. If you need help, ask for it. Number two, slow down. You don't have to rush it. Slow down. Number three, seek wise counsel. Okay. And number four, admit when you're exhausted and you need some rest. Okay. It will stop you from making foolish decisions. All right. So one of the things is, I want to ask you guys, with your business, what is your pain point? What is your pain point with your business? All right. I want you guys to think about that. What is your pain point with your business? Okay. One of the pain points that a lot of that I hear from entrepreneurs is they built the business and now the business is crushing them. The business is taking personal funds. The business is taken away from the family time. The business is not moving forward the way they needed to move forward in order to be successful. And so, what is your pain point with your business? Put that in the comments. All right. So let's talk about the solution of pride in entrepreneurship. Let's talk about the solution. So you want to replace self-dependence with a God-led structure. That's what God as CEO does. Okay. You want to build accountability, prayer, wisdom, and strategy. Okay. There's a prayer, and I'm going to read it to you guys in God as CEO. that I read every business meeting that I have with God. You have to have business meetings with God. I was talking to a young lady the other day, and this is before she even knew about God as CEO. And she was like, I'm going to start having business meetings with God. And I said, you should. And you should get God as CEO because it will walk you through your business meeting. All right. So, one of the things that I pray over my business daily, which just aligns you, because remember, the words that we speak are so powerful. All right. So when we speak these things over our businesses, the Bible says that if we declare a thing, it shall be established. Okay. So when we speak these things and we go through these declarations, the expectation for me is that they be established. I trust God. I've given God ownership of the business. Right. So let me go over the daily prayer framework that you go through every single day. And I know for me, it reminds me of my position and of God's position and what I should be doing and what God is doing. All right. And so this is the prayer. It usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes to pray this and say these declarations, but I'm going to share it with you guys here on the live. All right. So, God, I acknowledge you as CEO of this business. I surrender my plans, pressure, fear, and need for control. Give me wisdom, clarity, strategy, discipline, and discernment. Show me what to pursue, what to pause, who to connect with, and what to release. Let this business create impact, income, and legacy according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, when you think about this and you're saying, okay, Lord, I'm surrendering all of this stuff to you, all of it. And then I need you to give all of these things to me. And then I need you to create this business to impact everything around me, the legacy, my income, and just have a great impact within the world. When you say that, you're decreeing these positive things over your business. And if you trust God, then your expectation should be that these things are going to happen. Now, if you're not expecting these things to happen, you got to go back to the drawing board and say, Lord, help me trust you. Because the Bible says faith without works is dead, right? And the trust in the Lord, don't lean on our own understanding. So that means that the work that I'm talking about with faith is saying those things, right? You're speaking those things, you're declaring them, and then you're not leaning on your own understanding. So you may not see anything that's going on. You may not even be able to see what it is that God is showing you. You may not be able to see, let me rephrase that. It may look like everything's chaotic to you, but God is in that chaos, refining, realigning, and he's going to be releasing what he's going to show you. He's going to release it for you, but you have to make sure that your mindset understands that I'm going to have wisdom. I'm going to have clarity. God is going to give me strategy. I'm going to have discipline, and God is going to give me discernment. All right. Then there are 8 declarations. I'm not going to read them all, but I am going to read a couple of them so that you guys understand kind of what it is, the declarations that you speak daily. Okay. So one of them is I release control, pressure, fear, and the need to figure everything out. Align my thoughts, decisions, and actions with your will. Okay. Another one is help me to recognize right opportunities versus distractions, divine connections versus misaligned people, timing versus impatience. So when you begin to declare these things and speak these things over your business, that is going to you're allowing God to come in, and it's going to open it up for him to do his thing. Right. One of the things when my husband and I were buying our home, we were in a church service one day, and we were kind of concerned, like, okay, we got we want to make sure the credit is right. We want to make sure this is right, that's right, all this stuff. And the pastor said to us, and it's changed our whole perspective, and we went and had a home built. Okay. The pastor said this to us. He said, y'all better quit working. He was just talking to the congregation, not to us directly, but it was us directly. But he says, y'all better quit worrying about your credit and all these other things and go and apply for your home. Just quit worrying about all of that and go apply for your home and let God be God. That's what he said. He said, let God be God. Quit worrying about your credit and all this stuff. Apply for your home and let God be God. We did that. And we were able to have our home built from the ground up with no issues. I mean, the process was so smooth, no hiccups, nothing. We just trusted God. And I take that experience and I apply that to other areas of my life. When I start to get off track, when I start to think like, oh, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? Am I moving in the right direction? What is it? God is not the author of confusion. He's not. So if there's all this confusion and uncertainty and all these things, you got to take it back to the drawing board. You got to take it to the Lord and then ask the Lord for clarity and to guide you. All right. So I'm going to say this to you guys, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. All right. Some entrepreneurs do not fail because they lack talent. You're talented. You got it. Okay. You got it. You got it. But they fail because pride made them carry what God never asked them to carry. Pride has you carrying things and doing things and moving in ways that God never told you to do. He said, start the business. You start the business, you do everything you can do in human power. And then hold on, let me make sure. There we go. You do everything you can do in human power, and then you let God be God. Stop carrying stuff that God never intended for you to carry. All right. Okay, let's move on to the second topic. Let's move on. I want you guys to comment if you're interested in joining the. Hold on, you guys. My TikTok was doing something crazy. If you guys are interested in joining the God as CEO coaching program, comment when you see this video, whether you're watching it live or whether you are you see it at a later date. Comment God as CEO. I will reach out to you. I will send you the information, and we will go through this process together and get you on the other side of this frustration, confusion, get you aligned, your business and you align with the Lord and the direction He wants you to go in for your business. Okay. So number 2, moving faster than discernment. Now that I think was probably my main problem. Instead of me waiting to let God tell me, do this, do that, go this way, go that way, I just moved fast. I was doing it my own way. And I ended up in a foolish situation. Okay. About 20% of businesses fail within the first year. Okay. Now, when I look at the situation with my business, we had been open for probably 2 years before this incident happened. And we were pretty successful. We were growing. We had started getting more customers. We were growing. And then I got connected with these people who I should not have been connected with. And the business instantly, within a year, was dried up. And I had to rebuild and restart. Okay. Around 50% failed within 5 years. So my business was in that 50%. Now I was rebuilding, so I'll be able to see different, but my business was within that 50%. All right. Scaling too fast is repeatedly identified as a major business failure factor. 48% of failed startups cited cash flow problems. Now imagine that. I'm a startup company. Okay. I am, my business is taking a little, it's going, it's continuing to grow. I connect with some folks because I'm trying to scale my business and increase it and go in a different way. This is 2 years after our business is launched. Okay. And then I have a loss. The initial loss was $34,000. And then with attorney fees, it ended up coming out to a little over $60,000. All right. So if 48% of startup business cite cash flow problems, what makes y'all think I had $60,000 to play with these people with? Nobody has $60,000 to laying around to play with these folks. Right. So if the problem is that because I was trying to move so fast, I didn't stop to ask the questions, which is what I talked about with the pride thing. I didn't stop to ask the questions. I had already seen some things that were red flags and I did not hold on to them, primarily because I trusted the person who recommended these people. And that, you got to be very careful about who you trust. Very, very careful about who you trust. Okay. So let's talk about this. So speed without wisdom creates destruction. Now, listen, I'm a product of that destruction. Moving too fast, doing things my own way, and it created a destructive environment. And the relationship is ruined, completely ruined, right? So even more so, I thought that, because I had a relationship with the person, that they would consider the fact that they called me their friend, and they didn't. So the relationship was ruined, right? So destroyed. The business was destroyed. There are some other factors and different things that came in, but it caused a destruction within the business and within the relationship. So entrepreneurs, we often move before clarity, before preparation, before systems, and before emotional maturity. And I have to say that out of those four things, my particular issue was emotional maturity, because I didn't understand at the time that just because someone is your friend, just because you trust this person or something like that, or just because of who these people are, they were supposed to be people of God, right? Just because of that doesn't mean that they're gonna do you right. It doesn't mean that they're gonna treat you the way you need to be treated. And that was my discernment moving faster, and that was me not being emotionally mature to say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do business with this particular people or the situation, because they don't necessarily have the best track record, right? And to my defense, I didn't know the track record. Like, I didn't know for sure the track record was iffy. But after speaking to the person that I spoke to, it was too late. I'd already did it. But that's just part of being emotionally mature and getting clarification, right? And then preparing before you're preparing to launch and to extend your business by selecting the right people to be in communication and contact with. Okay. What we have to understand, and this is something, listen, you guys, I'm very transparent. I'm going to just tell you my experiences, what I see, where I'm going, how I think, and how I have to realign and readjust, and how God as CEO has helped me with that. But social media glorifies fast success. But it doesn't glorify sustainable success. I know you guys hear these people that you see them online, and they're like, they got all this going on. They're making all this money. They're showing all this money and all this stuff. And what I learned is most of the people that are really making all the money, most of them are not showing it on social media. They're not. Most of them are not. But you have to understand that fast money can hide foundational cracks. Okay, you're making money so fast money can hide foundational cracks. The foundation is all jacked up, but all you see is the money coming, the money, and you want to be successful, and you want to move it move your business forward. So you're listening to all these gurus and all of these different things, all these different people who show online that they've had success, but we don't know what people are doing. Let's just be real, right? And I'm somebody online trying to tell y'all what I did, but I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all don't know. You don't know. But what I do know is that God is real. And I do know that anytime you connect God to your purpose and put God in your plans, that it can't help but be successful. You cannot fail with God on your side. No weapon formed against you will prosper with God on your side. And every tongue, excuse me, guys, that rises up against you will be condemned with God on your side. Like, you cannot lose making God your CEO. It's just not possible. The only way that can happen is if you take the company back. You decide you're gonna take it back. God gets you so far, and then you decide you want to be the owner again. That's what usually happens. That's what usually happens. Yep, that's what usually happens. All right. So one of the things that I would say is that in my case, I was trying to grow so quick and so fast that it was hard to sustain it because I wasn't aligned with the growth and the way that God wanted me to do. With God as CEO, even now, building the businesses that I'm building, and I have a couple of other projects that I'm working on, take them through the God as CEO business alignment system so I can make sure the businesses align. In that system, you have to slow down, right? Because you're going to be asking God for permission to do things. You're not going to just be doing things on your own. And if God doesn't tell you or doesn't say anything, then you don't move. You wait until God gives you the answer. Okay? And that will prevent you from making bad decisions and moving too fast. Okay? Now, the solution to moving faster than discernment, let's talk about this. Okay? Is you're going to pause before major decisions. Okay, you'll pause before major decisions. You're going to seek, hold on, you guys, let me get this off. You're going to seek wise counsel. Okay, and in this case, your wise counsel, first and foremost, is going to be the Lord. It's going to be Lord. It's going to be the Lord. It's going to be the Lord. And then you're going to validate strategy before scaling. So before you just take off and be like, okay, look, this is what it is. This is what I'm going to do. You're going to validate if this is even the strategy that you should be going. You're going to research it. You're going to make sure that it goes through. There's so many AI things that can give you information right now. You guys use it to your ability to help your business grow, right? But you can't just put in a prompt, get the answer, and then not move on it. You can't do that, right? You have to take it to the Lord. Is this what I should be doing? Is this how I should move? Give me strategy. Show me more about this strategy so the Lord can begin to deposit resources in you and begin to show you different things to help you move your business forward. Okay? Make sure you guys like and share the lives. Make sure you guys like and share the lives. All right. Then you're going to build systems before expansion. So this is something that I believe is so important. And I've learned this from another coach. In fact, I went to Millions conference that Tiffany Montgomery puts on this year, and it was amazing. And one of the things that one of the speakers said was she built all of her systems. She put everything together, built all of her systems so that when she hired employees, when she got clients, when she did everything was already done. She didn't have to stop to put those things together. And so when you're in the quiet season and you're waiting for things to happen and you're waiting for things to go, you want to start building your systems, building your programs, building your systems. I have programs that I haven't even introduced yet because it's not the right time, but they're already ready. So when the time comes, then it'll already be done. All I got to do is put it out there. I can already, hey, look, I'm introducing this system. I'm introducing this process. So you want to make sure that you build your systems before expansion. Okay. And then you want to align your growth with capacity. Listen, if y'all read the word, the prayer of Jabez says, he asked the Lord to enlarge his territory. Okay. You guys need to pray for God to build up your capacity for that, to receive that enlarged territory. Okay. You want to have the capacity to receive everything it is that God has for you. You want to have the capacity to receive everything is that God is going to give you for your business. You want to make sure that you align your growth with capacity. Let me tell you guys what I mean by that. That means studying your craft. That means learning new skills. That means preparing yourself so that as you grow, as your business grows, you're already up on the updated skills. You already know what the market requires. You already know what your particular people need and what they want, and you're already ahead of it. So as you grow and as doors begin to open and as you begin to expand, your capacity grows with it. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to share this with you guys, and then we're going to go to topic 3. Okay, we're going to go to topic 3. You guys, make sure you like, you share, you save, all of that. Okay. Comment, whatever it is you guys want to do. I'm using this new system, so I can't see a lot of comments and or anything like that. So I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, let me share this with you guys. Just because the door opened doesn't mean God told you to run through it. And I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, I know I'm guilty of this. If doors open, it must be the Lord. The Lord must have said, this is for you. This is for you. This is for you. I want you guys, the enemy opens up doors too. And a lot of times the enemy opens up doors to get you distracted and get you off course. So everything that looks good isn't good. I know most of us have heard that saying, everything that's glitter ain't gold, right? And so just because a door opens doesn't mean you need to run through it. You have to check with the Lord first. Lord, is this you? Lord, is this the way that you want me to go? Lord, is this what you want me to do? Right? So you have to make sure that you are aligned with God and that you're staying in constant communication with him. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Make sure that you guys, you can download God as CEO at www.brokencycleministries.com/God as CEO. Make sure that you guys are downloading the program. Okay. If you want to be a part of the coaching program, which is currently complimentary right now until June, let me know. I still have a few slots open. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. You guys will hear the testimonials, but it's going to be amazing. Don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on that. Normally, the coaching program is $197. I am giving it, we're doing it for free for the month of June. All right. So if you're interested, message or in either DM me or put it in, put CEO in the chat. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go to topic 3. Warning signs entrepreneurs ignore. Oh, this is huge, you guys, because there's so many warning signs that we ignore because we just trying to get it. We just trying to go. We trying to make this money by tomorrow. That's what we trying to do. Okay, we trying to do that. And when we do that, we miss and allow for warning signs to be ignored. Okay, so 22% of businesses fail due to burnout. Okay. 73% of entrepreneurs blame multitasking overload for burnout. I know how that feels. Okay. 68% of burnout is connected to financial uncertainty. That's huge. Okay. Because if your business, you're trying to get your business to make money. And if your business isn't making money, then that causes uncertainty, right? And it causes you to burn out. Sometimes a lot of people just walk away. Right? 71% of entrepreneurs experience isolation that contributes to burnout. That's because you're trying to do everything on your own. You're trying to do it all by yourself. Okay. And if you're trying to do it all by yourself, then you're going to get burnt out. You have to get support, get help, build you a tribe and a team, and get some assistance. That is something that I struggled with tremendously. I'm coming out of that. I'm leaning on others like, hey, I need you to do this. Can you do that for me? Hey, can you help me do this? People that I know have certain skill sets. Listen, I do not mind asking nowadays, because why? We trying to all make sure that we make it and that we have what it is that we need. And why shouldn't I include someone that I can trust, that I know can do the job? Why can't I get them in on it, right? And have them help me. All right. So let's talk about some warning signs. Okay. Emotional warning signs, your constant irritation, constantly irritated. Everybody get on your nerves. Everybody getting on your nerves. You have anxiety, you have an exhaustion, and you lose your joy. You lose your joy. All right. Business warning signs. Revenue chaos. Listen, revenue chaos is you don't know where your money's at. Your business is probably broke. You're using your personal money to fund the business and it's not coming back to you. That is a warning sign. That means something, it should be dee 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 dee. Something is wrong. All right. Reactive decision making. Oh, that is huge. That is so huge. I just did a post the other day and I said, do not make decisions when you are desperate, because it will have you making decisions that have a long-term or permanent impact for a temporary feeling. Sleep on that thing and take it to the Lord. Matter of fact, let me reverse that. Take it to the Lord and sleep on it. Either way. But you need to, you don't make decisions while you're desperate. Let God help you. All right. Lack of systems, meaning that you don't have any systems. You don't have any systems. You're trying to run this business. You haven't put things together. Your business is probably ready to scale, but you have no systems to scale it. You have no way to figure out how to scale your business. Okay. And then we have high turnover. Let me tell you, when we first started our business, the one business where we lost a lot of money, we hired employees and turnover was like, and it was because we were struggling with the financial loss. We were struggling with trying to develop the system. We were struggling with trying to get things together and making sure that we had enough clients and customers so that our employees can work. Our 1099 employees can work, our contractors. And because we lacked the systems and there was revenue chaos, there was a high turnover rate. That should be that's an alarm. Bing, 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 bing. Woo, 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 woo. That's my alarm system sound. Okay. Listen, and then you have inconsistent focus. That was huge for me because I'm focused on trying to get my money back. Then I'm focused on running the business. Then I'm focused on starting a new business. Then I'm focused on family and trying to raise a child. And my attention was everywhere. And what I've learned is that you have to structure your days. You have to structure your time. So what I do now, I'll share this secret with you guys. What I do now is each one of my businesses gets a certain amount of time. And it's a schedule. So this business A, I work on Monday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Business B, I work on Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. So just whatever it is. Business C, I work on Tuesdays and I do that business all day long. So it just depends. Okay. So you got to get over that inconsistent focus. You got to pick. This is the thing. Like we should have 7 to 8 streams of income, right? Which means that you have to work on all of these things to get them started. So you have to understand that you have to have time management in order to ensure that you are focused on what you need to focus on. You focus on one business, you get it to the point where it's running with minimal requirement or minimal support from you. And then you move to the next business. You get it running to a place where there's minimal support, and then you go to the next. So you have to build. Okay? But you got to be careful with saying, and this is something that I do because you call it multitasking, right? And so I could be on my laptop with one business running some stuff. Then I'm over here on my iPad running some stuff on this business. And then I'm on my phone doing a couple of posts. That is too much. It's too much. So I had to bring it in and say, okay, let me get this schedule together, because I got to focus on all the businesses. But the primary one is this one right now. And this is what I'm going to put my primary focus on. And the other ones I'm still going to work on, but they're going to be minimal until I get this one where it needs to be. All right. So that's just a little nugget that I do. Let's talk about spiritual warning signs. This is huge. This changes the game if you get this stuff in order. All right. Number one, you have no peace. There's no peace. You have no peace about your business, no peace about what's going on. You're up all night thinking about it. You're tired, you're worried, you're scared, all that. You have no peace. Okay. And then you have no prayer life. I do not understand how people go through their days in their life without consulting and talking to God about everything. I don't understand that. Now, let me tell you why I don't understand that. Because I used to be that person. And I had no peace. I was consistently running. I had no joy. It was hard. So I couldn't go back to that, because I understand that it's not the place that God wants any of us. Okay. So no prayer life. You have to talk to the Lord. Prayer changes things. It really does. That's not just a saying. If you pray to the Lord, I told y'all earlier, when we decree a thing, God said it's going to be established. As long as we're praying in his will, and his will, he knows his plans for us, right? He knows the plans that he has for us. Plans to do good, plan to give us a hope and a future. He knows this. So why not talk to him? Why not take it to him? You're a creator. All right. And then constant striving. Listen, if you're constantly, we talked about this before, you going. You talking about, I gotta figure out how to make this money by tomorrow. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm over here. I'm doing it. That is that spiritually shows that you are not connecting with God, because God never intended for us to be in a sense of urgency like that all the time. And you're constantly going and going and going. That's not, we should be working with ease and speed. Ease and speed. Okay. Then we have identity tied to only to performance. And that is something that I struggled with. My identity was tied to how well I performed, the type of job I had, the type of how successful my business was. That's what my identity was tied to. Okay. Some other things, but that, when we're talking about business, those are the things. And it's, you cannot, like, there's going to be some times where you're not performing your best. And you cannot have your identity in that, because when you're not at your best, you have to lean on God, and you got to allow God to take over. He should be taking over anyway. But when you're not at your best, if your identity is in your performance, then you are going to be feeling down about yourself. You're going to be feeling less than. You're going to be feeling hopeless, right? And the ultimate goal is to ensure that your identity is in God. Your identity is through Christ. Okay. Not in how you perform. There are going to be slow days. There are going to be slow times. There are going to be times where nothing is moving and shaking. But you got to know that God is working on the back end. And that's the time when you're perfecting. That's the time when you're learning. That's the time when you're growing. That's the time where you're setting up your systems. That's the time where you're preparing. All right. But remember, your identity should only be in God. Okay. I'm going to share this because this is so important. Everything looked successful publicly, but privately, I was falling apart. That's just the real thing. It looked good on social media. It looked good when people were in front of me. But privately, I was trying to figure out, how do I get myself out this hole? How did I get my family in this situation? How did I get my one of somebody who invested money, one of my friends. How did I get them in this situation? How do I get us out of this? Because everything looks good, and when they ask, people ask, well, how's the business, how's this? Oh, it's great. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It was bad because I needed my money. It was bad because my business was failing. It was bad because I lost customers. It was bad because I didn't have the financial backing that I needed to push the business forward. It was bad, but it looked successful. It looked good, but it was bad. So be careful of what you guys see on the outside. The other people look so good, this and that. A lot of times it's not what it seems. Okay. A lot of times it is not what it seems. All right. So let's talk about the solution. Let's go there. All right. And let's see. The solution is you want to audit I encourage you to audit your emotional health. What your emotions impact your business because it impacts your decisions. Just audit your emotional health. All right. Number 2, you want to slow down long enough to hear God. Sometimes God, like I talk, I pray and I worship and I all the time. And sometimes God will give me an instant answer, like, hey, just do this. Sometimes He gonna make me wait a couple of days. Sometimes it might be longer than a few days. But while I'm in that waiting system, I just continue to grow in other ways. And I wait until God leads me and tells me what to do. I have a question out for God right now. I'm like, Lord, wait, hold on. What is this? And I'm waiting for Him to respond. Now, I want Him to respond right now. But that's not how God operates. He responds in His timing. And because He knows the perfect timing. Okay. All right. Number 3, create structure and boundaries. Listen. I told myself after having that experience with this business, I told myself, I said, I will never do business with a certain demographic of people ever again. And that was so wrong because not all people in that demographic are behave or treat people the way that I was treated. And so I had to take that back. And it was okay. That we're not going to do that, but we will create structure and boundary around who you do business with. And they need to have references and you need to talk to people. And before you make any decision, you're going to take it to the Lord and get wise counsel. All right. And then number 4, stop ignoring internal warning signs. You guys know that listen, if you have discernment, you're going to get some spidey senses. Okay. When something ain't right, you're going to get some spidey. I got some spidey senses a few times dealing with these people. And I'm like, nah, I just push them. No, they wouldn't do me like that because of X, Y, and Z. They wouldn't do me like that because of the relationship. I really got spidey senses, but I overlooked them. I ignored them. All right. And then you want to separate your identity from income. Okay. You are not how much money you make. People want you to think that, but you're not. You're not how much money your business makes. You're not. You're the talent. You're the talent. Okay. And you get to determine that and you get to decide whatever it is that where your identity comes from. And it should not come from the income that you make because that fluctuates up and down, up and down. All right. So let me leave you guys with this. Burnout is often a consequence of ignoring warning signs God tried to show you early. Listen, check those red flags. Check them. Check the red flags. All right. Now, make sure we're going to go to topic 4. And then I want you guys to share this live, like the live, go to God as CEO, brokencycleministry.com /God as CEO. to download the Goddess CEO 30-day business alignment system, listen, it's important for you guys to align your business with God. Let me help you do that. Let me help you do that. If you want to be a part of the coaching program, put CEO in the comments. All right. It is complimentary until June. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Topic 4. Why success without alignment collapses. This is huge, guys. Big. All right. 37% revenue drops were observed in companies led by burnt out founders. Okay. 37% revenue drops were observed in companies led by burnt out founders. Productivity drops by 25% during founder burnout episodes. Oh, that's so just think it's so mind-blowing. Okay. Business that lacks strategy, that lacks strategic planning and leadership alignment are significantly more vulnerable to failure. That's huge. That's huge. Okay. So success without alignment following. All right. Success without alignment creates the following. Number 1, exhaustion, instability, identity loss, and hidden dysfunction. Let's think about that, you guys. Hidden dysfunction. So you are not aligned to God. You have a little bit of success, but it's dysfunctional because you're just doing whatever. Okay. Money amplifies what already exists internally. Oh my gosh. So listen, people always say things, not all people, but a lot of times people say, well, if I just had the money, then I'll be this way. If I just had the money, then I'll be, no, you still gonna be who you are. You just it's gonna increase. So if you're a horrible person broke, you're gonna be a horrible person rich. If you're a nice and gentle and kind person broke, you're gonna be a nice and gentle, kind person rich with money. All right. So it just amplifies what already exists. If you are bad with money and you're not a good steward, when you don't have any, when you get some, what you think's gonna happen? You're gonna be bad with money and not a good steward. That's just what it is. All right. Now, a misaligned business eventually exposes, listen to this, you guys, broken systems, unhealthy leadership, emotional instability, and spiritual emptiness. Now, who would have thought that your business being misaligned exposes all of that? So you got broken systems, unhealthy leadership, meaning that you're trying to lead people and lead situations and you're not even healthy. All right. As a leader, you have emotional instability and spiritual emptiness. I had to run that back because that's so powerful. It tells you how important it is to have your business aligned. Okay. All right. One of the things I will say is that in my situation, there were certain goals that I did reach, that I met, and I still felt off. It still felt off. Like, okay, is this really where I wanted to be? Is this what I'm trying to do? And then that hindrance came in where the business just completely plateaued and then dipped. Got to be careful with that. All right. The solution. Let's talk about the solution. We're so solution orientated, right? God as CEO is the solution. Okay. So let's talk about that. You want to make sure that you want to have alignment in your purpose, alignment with God in stewardship and leadership, spiritual health, and daily decision making. It is so important to take whatever you have going on to the Lord every single day. That's so important. All right. And then I encourage you guys to create your vision with values. Okay. Understand that it should be obedience over comparison. There's sometimes you're going to want to compare yourself to other people and what they got going on, but God didn't tell you to do that. He told you to do this. So you need to do this. You need to do what God told you to do. Don't worry about what they got going on. God told them to do that. He didn't tell you to do that. So what am I saying in a nutshell? Mind your business and stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop it. Then you want to have sustainable systems. Okay, systems that are sustainable. And then you want to have God-centered leadership. If you're the leader and you are bringing other people on board to help you lead your business, you want to make sure that they're God-centered. Because maybe you're off track one day. You need somebody that's God-centered, that's going to be able to get you back on track, get you back aligned. They can just speak a word and be like, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Hold on, y'all. My live's going to end on. Hold on. All right. Back. I had to fix TikTok. They got a little puzzle thing. Anyway, you want to make sure. And then that's even with other people. Like maybe you're the one, you have a leader and they are, getting off track and you need to pull them back on. You can take them to what the Lord said about whatever the situation is and remain aligned. Okay. So God-centered leadership. All right. I want to leave you guys with this, and then we're going to get into some other stuff. And then, you guys will have opportunity to buy the God as CEO 30-day business alignment system. All right. So a business can look successful on the outside while collapsing internally from misalignment. Don't let your business be misaligned. Don't allow your business to collapse for misalignment. Just stay focused. Align yourself with the Lord. All right. So I want you guys to know that some entrepreneurs aren't failing because they lack that talent. We talked about this from the beginning. They're failing because they're building disconnected from alignment. That's what it is. Okay. And so I asked this question at the beginning of the live. I'm going to ask it for you now. To you again. What warning sign did you ignore in business that cost you the most? What was that warning sign? Okay. My warning sign was making an emotional decision and trying to scale the business faster than what God told me to. And because of that, I made an emotional decision, which cost me some moolah. Cost me some money. All right. I want you guys to comment CEO if you're ready to rebuild. If you are rebuilding your business, or if you are rebuilding your empire, if you are rebuilding your legacy, comment God as CEO. Okay. DM me if you guys have any questions. If you want to join the coaching program, send me a DM and I will get you guys signed up. Okay. Remember, it is complimentary up until the month of June. After that, it's $197. All right. But we can help you rebuild. I'll help you rebuild the way that I did. And it's a proven track record. All right. So I created the God as CEO for entrepreneurs, rebuilding with faith, structure, and alignment after pressure, burnout, and setbacks. So you guys can go to www.brokencycleministries.com/God as CEO to download yours today. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you guys have any comments. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure that you guys share the live. And I will be on again tomorrow, but it will be in the evening time. But you guys share the live. Okay. And remember this. Remember this. I love you, but God loves you more. Everybody have